Well, after two top 10 classes coming in from the last 2 years, I don't expect this class to be ranked that high. Not because they're not talented kids, but just because we only had 2 scholarships to fill. This was much more of a need-based class for us, where we needed a setter to be our setter for the future. And I feel like we got our first choice in the country, which happened to be in Chicago, Alexis Volunas, who's I think I mentioned in the press release, but if you look at her body work, she knows how to win. And she's 6'1", she's physical, she can hit. But every team she's been on, they compete for national championships, state championships. She won a state championship last year with Jocelyn Burks. This year she's 1 game away from getting back to the state championships with a team that was somewhat depleted on talent, in my opinion, and she led them to all the way to the 1 game away from the state. I love her demeanor. I love her leadership. I think that she's going to be a tremendous asset to our program for the next few years and going to be the setter of our future. I think even next year she's going to come in and compete with Annie, and we'll see kind of how that goes. I think she's that kind of talent. We also needed a middle, and we needed some size and physicality and athleticism, and we found a great one, I think, in Maddie. She's Maddie Mayer. She's ranked 78th by the whatever the rankings are. I think she's underrated as an athlete, and potentially they say 6'4". She looks more like 6'5" to me. Really long arms, puts up a great block, great athlete. Touches 10.4 right now, and she's got a lot of work to do. Or I think she's going to be higher than that. She reminds me of Anna Dorn as what she looked like coming in as a high school senior, where she's got a lot of potential. It's going to need some time to develop. I think she's going to end up being a great blocker and potentially could be an exceptional attacker because she's got a nice arm and has some power. So if we look at what we needed, and we got the first 2 kids we offered and the kids that we wanted, and we're really excited about the class and more what they add to the 2 classes that we had ahead of them. Moving forward, we feel like it's going to keep us nationally competitive for the next several years. So,
questions? Since you talked about Alexis getting on the floor next year, what role would you envision her in? What are the options? I'm thinking that if she doesn't win the starting setting job, could we still see her in the back row? Is she that talented to help you in the back row, perhaps? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I could see her running 6'2". I could see her taking the position. I mean, Annie's going to certainly have a leg up, having had this year to set, but I could see her coming in and competing to run a 5'1". I could see her being a player that we put just in the front row. I can also see if she doesn't win the battle because we think so high level that we maybe she would redshirt. I think there's a lot of options that we can looking forward, that we want to make sure we get the most out of her time. And yeah, I mean, she's 6'1", and she actually was recruited to hit at a lot of schools as well. So she's an all-around volleyball player. She's a great volleyball player, actually. And she's brothers with Eddie Volunas, who's a tight end for the football team, which is kind of cool because she's been down here a lot, and we feel like we get a good grasp of who she is as a person.
How important will it be with Maddie and Alexis getting to play behind Annie and Aaron for a year and really get to learn from them?
I mean, that's the nature of, Aaron got to play behind Johanna Bangert, and Annie got to play behind Hillary Hayne, and that's, the culture you want to have in your program, where these highly touted recruits come in and they learn from the kids ahead of them, and they develop and learn our culture and see what it's about to be a college volleyball player. It's a big change for them, and I think it's huge. I think it's huge to have people that are going to set a good example, and certainly Anna's learning from being behind both Joe and Aaron. I think the same will be for Maddie.
This is really maybe a bigger class if you think of it in terms of what you've done in terms of possible redshirting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, it'll only be in a class of 4 with Allie Stark. We're going to redshirt her, and then Jocelyn Burks, who's our best attacker in the gym right now. She's got a lot to learn about the game, but she's going to be an exceptional outside hitter for us. We redshirted her, and we get her for 4 years. And her and Alexis have played club and played high school together for their 4 years, so there's some familiarity with those two, which I'm excited about. If it's not next year, moving forward to 3 years after that. You had a question?
He answered.
Okay.
Does Alexis have kind of a distinctive way about her, the way she sets or the way she does things on the court, perhaps?
She has a great demeanor. She's a kid that people like to follow. I mean, that's some of the intangible things. As far as a setter, she's a great setter. I mean, she can locate, and she also brings at 6'1", and she's a physical player. She's going to present some challenges because it's going to be hard to match up against us because our size when she's out there is going to be we're going to have a very good defensive team. She can block, and she's a good blocker. And so you don't usually get that out of a setting position, especially not. Sometimes you can get a big kid that isn't great at locating sets. I think she brings both.
Since you've shown you are willing to redshirt freshmen, is there any possibility of these two coming in?
Yeah, that's a decision we'll make as we get into the fall. I certainly think that there's some benefits to redshirting. I know that if you talk to Jocelyn right now, Burks, she's really happy that we decided to redshirt her just because she has some time to get acclimated to college. We don't make those decisions now. It's always an option. You hope that it's not an option for us because of injury, which Allie's case, that is the case. She broke her finger in practice one of the days, so we're going to end up redshirting her because she's not back yet. But actually, she's back today, but she hasn't been able to play. So you hope that you have that option just for a development standpoint. But if she's able to come in and compete for a starting spot, and we think that we're better with her out there, then that's the direction we'll go. And that's with every position. Same with Maddie. If she comes in and she's better than what we have, she'll play. And that's the nature of the culture that we have right now, is that we have a lot of talent in the gym, and they're all competing for starting positions. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do a rotation like basketball can do. You have 6 players out there. You could kind of put players out there occasionally to give people a break, but it's not like you can give them 10 minutes, of time on the court. And so redshirting at times makes probably more sense in our sport than it does in others.
How do they fit in with the team as far as their visit stuff goes?
I mean, the thing about the recruiting that's happened so early now is that they're all Facebook buddies. They're all friends. They know each other really well. They've been on several visits. I feel like even the classes beyond this year, the kids just know each other, and if they feel like they're part of the program and part of the team already. It seems like it's been a long time since they committed to when we're signing them today. So I feel like the team feels the same way, that they're already part of the group.
In your coaching career, have you had an instance or a season where you've done a 6-2?
We did it in 2008. We did it with Lizzie Bezzetta and Hillary Hayne. We kept Hillary around, and then we put Michelle Barch in the front row for Lizzie Bezzetta, and it worked out pretty well. We went to Sweet 16 that year, and that was probably better than people thought we'd do that year. I think it was the right decision for that team. It just depends on the personnel. Running a 6-2 is hard with a kid. If Lizzie McMahon could prove to develop into a nice right side back row attacker like we had with Barch, if she can do that, then I don't know if we can find a better attacker, front row and back row to take that position, but it's possible. I think that's way out in the future for us, and we'll see how spring kind of goes. I think the possibility of doing it, we certainly have the personnel to be able to pull something like that off, and it could be a pretty good system for us.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.